Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Hi, Andre. Good to see you. How's your
Alex.
how's your bank holiday been?
Very good, very good. We've been to Monkey World.
That's on my to-do list for the summer, actually.
Oh, right, yeah, it was it
Uh,
was really good. It was really good yesterday, actually. We joined with another family, so it was enjoyable. The sun, initially it was windy in the morning, but then it calmed down.
Excellent. No, that's lovely. I'm looking forward to it later on. We've also got long leads to do. We managed to
Yeah, we haven't done that yet.
save up enough of the Tesco vouchers and convert them
Oh yeah,
before
yeah.
the value is completely diminished. They've gone from 1 to 4 to 1 to 3, and I think it's going to 1 to 2. But
Yes, yeah.
yeah, let's just let a few more people into the room. Morning, Jeremy. Good to see you. Welcome.
Good morning. Just unmuted myself. Nice to see you too.
Yeah. Morning, Joe. Action Coach Joe. Good to have you with us. You're muted at the moment.
Morning,
Awesome.
Alex.
Good, great to have you with us. We've also got
Thank
Tina
you.
with us in the wings, and W Kappas. I'm not sure who that is, but feel free to hop on and join in the masterclass. So we'll just kick off with a presentation. But yeah, you're all welcome. So good that you're here with us. So today's topic is all about mastering lead tracking, from CRM setup to closing sales. This is quite an integral part in the Leadeth journey with a lot of my existing clients. So the way these masterclasses work, we're actually running a 13-week program. It's all completely free, added value, showing you basically where how we take people on this journey at Leadeth, from finding new leads, generating new business from LinkedIn, and all the other associated little pieces of the jigsaw that we need to slot in. I'm going to run through a quick agenda. We're looking at kind of why you need a CRM tool for lead tracking, why it's so important. And maybe we'll look at the size of businesses and understand kind of when that becomes essential for you. How to set it up efficiently to track those leads, importing and organizing all your LinkedIn leads within your CRM, nurturing leads with CRM workflows and automations, and we'll look at closing sales with accurate lead data tracking. So that kind of helps that finishing that measurement piece there. So I'm going to talk for around about 25 to 30 minutes, and then we'll open up at the end of the session for a bit of Q&A. We should be done 9:45. Happy to stay on a bit longer if anyone's got any more questions that they want to ask. Just a quick, who's currently using a CRM tool of any description, even if it's a manual, diary with lists of leads, or it'd be great to see, show of hands, who's got a CRM system in place? Jeremy, yep, you're an existing client. I know you have, because we set it up last week. Well done. Tina's raised her hands as well. Glad Tina's got that going. Andre, what about yourself?
No, I don't. I tried I explored a couple of them, tried this, set it up, but never went back to them. So I don't know. I need to get back to it.
Yeah. No, they're very powerful. Joe, have you got, I know Action Coach probably have given you an amazing system that does all this.
They probably have. I'm just using an Excel spreadsheet at the minute,
That's
Alex.
fine.
Yeah.
An Excel spreadsheet is a powerful tool as well, really powerful to do this job as well. So quick introduction, a little bit about me. So my name is Alex Smith. I'm your host for today, also the founder of Leadeth, Leadeth.io. And Leadeth is a powerful lead generation agency that exists to support business owners. I tend to deal with mainly small businesses, although saying that, we've just taken on a national insurance firm who took 10 seats, which is quite nice. So that's my specialism. It's all about LinkedIn, generating credible leads through the LinkedIn platform. I would give you a bit of a history and backstory, but I'm going to just crack on with the content because we've got so much to cover today. So let's get started. I always like to bring up these marketing funnel models because they are essential in terms of understanding what's going on with leads and with our marketing, digital marketing. So this is a classic funnel marketing model. It describes the customer journey right the way from that first touch points and all the way through to to their purchase point and beyond. And as you can see, it's called a funnel because at the top, the number of prospects is massive, and they're siphoned down to just a few who are kind of really interested, considering their options, weighing up whether your offering is better than other people's. And then you get them down into that purchase stage, which is when they're ready to make that buying decision. And then you retain them as a loyal customer. These days, we also have a modern version of this, which is called the flywheel model. And it just outlines the ongoing customer relationship. So we have this attract stage, we have the engage stage, we delight the clients, and they become advocates for us. So they, are so pleased with what you're doing for them, they're actually going to attract more people to you, which is quite cool. So where does CRM sit in the whole Leadeth journey and the kind of roadmap? So we take people on this journey, right? We identify their target audience. We prime the LinkedIn profile to make sure it's speaking to that target audience. We then create these LinkedIn outreach campaigns with a follow-up email nurture piece. And then we look at video content marketing and how that can really improve your visibility as a thought leader in your industry or specific space. And then number 6 is all about appointment setting. And it's more about the systems, the automation. That's where the CRM tends to kick in. But you can use the CRM in kind of any stage, really, right the way from, identifying those initial leads. The CRM could be useful. But as soon as we've got a lead, we need to get them logged, get them into a system so we can then commence the nurture and follow-up system. So you're probably all aware of this, but CRM, what does it stand for? Well, it's quite simply customer relationship management. And that basically means it denotes strategies and software that can enable a company to optimize its customer relations. So it's very straightforward. It's all about customer focus and how we go around managing those relationships. So why do you need a CRM tool for lead tracking? Well, the benefits are quite numerous. Firstly, because a CRM tool is going to help you to stay organized. It's going to help you to keep track of absolutely every bit of information that's coming in and out of your business. Good morning to George, who's just joined us. And it's going to help us to log things like their contact details, as you start to build out this sales funnel, and any kind of previous interactions you might have had with that client, you're going to have track of it, and you need to see the whole picture of what that customer has interacted with, how many webinars they've been on, how many PDFs they've opened, how many website clicks they've been on. And you can start to, when you link up these systems together, you can have a huge map of the people that are really absorbing your content, which is really powerful for you to then remarket to them. Secondly, a CRM tool will help you to kind of personalize the communications with your leads, because you can now track their behavior, their interests, and that's going to help you to create more of a tailored outreach that's going to obviously increase the chance of getting a good conversion. So on the other hand, if you're not using a CRM tool, some of the risks and problems that you're going to get into is obviously you're going to start to lose track of important information. You're going to miss those follow-ups, and potentially lose out on a lot of really good leads. So now we've covered kind of the benefits and risks of using a CRM tool. We're going to talk about the different types of CRM tools that are available. There is a variety of tools out there on the market, and it's a bit of a nightmare if you get this kind of new shiny thing syndrome, which you think you see all the bells and whistles and it does this and does that and it makes your life a lot easier. But there's so many options out there. In the past, I've used a website called g2.com, and that's really good for analyzing the right sort of software tool for you, where you're at with your size of business and kind of what you're doing. And you can read other reviews from people in a similar sized business to you, which is quite helpful. And that will basically plot everything out on a graph, and you can see, who are the high contenders, who are kind of leading the market currently. So it's always good to have a look at those kind of market leading systems. So yeah, going back to the tools available, how do we choose the right one for our business? We're going to look into that in a bit more detail as well. This was a statistic from IBM. So the return of a CRM system, when it's been properly implemented, can exceed, and this is an amazing percentage here, 245%. That's one nice return on the investment. So it's obviously leveraging the power of that tool. There's also some other stats there that conversion rates are boosted by, a huge number, 300%. I found a stat out around about 50% of teams improved their productivity by using a mobile CRM tool. So these are kind of systems are designed for mobile phones as well. So even when you're on the go and you make a phone call through your mobile phone, obviously that phone call is then logged onto your CRM, so you can see a full record of that phone call. And these days, phone calls are also being transcribed automatically, so you can just quickly scan through and see all the conversation that you've had with previous clients and stuff. So all this information is just, it's a kind of almost like a data overload, but it's really helpful to get a grip of what's going on with this stuff. So when we think about setting up your CRM for efficiently tracking, there's a few things that we'll need to consider. We have to customize this CRM to fit your sales process, and your sales process is going to be very different to anyone else's. Obviously, we can look at a typical sales process. The way we do that is define your sales process and workflow. So what are the existing steps that you need to take a customer from initially getting a lead, whether it's on LinkedIn or through a website, right the way through to the other end of that sales process where they sign up with you? Identify what all the little steps are involved, because these are all touch points, these are all nurture points. And once you start to kind of map this out, it really helps you to kind of get a grip on kind of what's going on and whether you've got some bottlenecks. It could be you've got a lot of prospects just sitting on that estimation or that quote or that proposal stage, which is kind of towards the close end of the customer journey. And if you've got a lot of proposals that aren't being met, it's going to help you to understand, right, I'm going to need to address this. So identify the key data points to track in your CRM. So think about that data that's flowing through this system. What are the key bits of information that we're going to need to do a really effective job at, personalizing them a proposal potentially. So that's quite important as well. Thirdly, we need to configure the CRM to match an existing sales process. So that's vital. We don't want to kind of, here we go. This one here is a sales pipeline strategy for lead to client sales processes, a generic one that I found on the internet. It starts with prospecting, where we're grabbing the lead information, whether that's LinkedIn or your website. That goes through to an initial phone call for this company. And that initial phone call, part of that is this qualification stage where we're identifying the decision maker and are they a good fit, yes or no? And then we've got the nurture stage where we're nurturing the prospects. They're moving down to a presentation about your services. They've got a follow-up with them. It could be an email, and it could be the opportunity then goes out to them, and then you finally close them. So that's kind of an example kind of sales journey, and it's understanding what does that sales journey look like for your business in particular. Fourthly, obviously, when you start to automate, that's where you can really make savings in terms of time and resources. Because you can have set up a lot of automated steps. So it could be, things like the physical phone call. It's very difficult to automate that, although these days with AI and robots, and you can automatically leave voice messages and things like that, which is quite cool, just to nudge people along the line a little bit more. But yeah, it's thinking about how we can go about automating every single element of that as much as possible. You don't want to take yourself out of the whole sales process completely. Obviously, if you're scaling and you're much bigger, then you might want to start to delegate some of these stages out. Yeah, that's fair. But the simple things, think about, could this be automated? Could this email proposal be automated on the back of a sales call? So they automatically get an email on the end of that thing. Hopefully that kind of puts it into perspective, and you can start to think about this customer journey. So integrating your CRM with other sales tools. So most CRMs these days are all cloud-based tools. They work on APIs, which are kind of application protocols that send all this information back and forth. And when you start to streamline your sales process, what you're doing is you're integrating this with other sales tools, and that's going to reduce that duplication. It's going to save time. It's going to help you to be a bit more efficient. Okay. Data accuracy is key. I think when I was a police officer years ago, they always used to talk about ABC when you're communicating on the radio. I think it was accuracy, brevity, and clarity. It was the ABC of how you would communicate to people. And it is very much about, data accuracy. We need to improve this data constantly. So there's lots of tools out there that will help you, like deduplicate contacts. You might have 2 contacts in the database, so you want to know that that contact is the right one. So it's making sure you're utilizing the tools that are fixing all these data inaccuracies. Obviously, jobs change, contact numbers change, email addresses change, so it's very much a fluid thing, this. Think about enhancing collaboration. So when you start to integrate your CRM with other sales tools, you're actually going to start to improve your collaboration with different teams. So if you've got a remote worker or someone who's coming on board to support you, obviously having a system in place is going to be so much easier to then kind of share that content, give them user access, and they can access all those leads as well. So collaboration between the different teams is going to really help, and that will help you all work towards this shared goal. Automating your workflows, kind of briefly touched on it, but obviously the more we can kind of automate this, the better. And there's tools out there that will actually kind of score the lead based on a percentage of how likely they're to be pushed through. And these CRMs will actually kind of flag up. They'll say, hey, up, this person's opened the email 6 times compared to everyone else who's opened it up one time. So it'll put them to the top of the list and then help you to identify that person as a red hot prospect who you can push through a little bit quicker and give them some more manual time. So a couple of ideas around integrating your CRM with other sales tools to get better data and such like. So some examples of tools that you can integrate with CRMs. So sorry, was that a question, someone?
No, just a cough. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, Jeremy. We've got email marketing is probably the biggest tool to automate a lot of what you do. I'm a big fan of MailerLite currently. That's what I use to send all my email marketing. So that's almost synchronized. It's synchronized with all my. As soon as someone connects with me on LinkedIn, basically they're pushed into the MailerLite system. So the data's there if I need it there, and then I can then do a full circle and push that data to another CRM system. So I actually use HubSpot to kind of manage the individual prospect and individual emails and phone calls. Leadeth in its entirety is a CRM tool as well, and it's going to be a central data point for a lot of people. They can use it to track all the emails, the LinkedIn messages. You can manually, I think, make notes on prospects as well, but I've not checked that feature out. Other marketing automation tools, so HubSpot, which I mentioned, that's going to help you to nurture those leads with targeted content. You can also send mini email marketing campaigns just to specific people or to a group of people, a smaller number of people, which is quite helpful. And you can link that to your own personal email as well. You've then got fancy sales engagement tools like SalesLoft or Outreach. I've used in the past Apollo. Apollo's quite good, and they help you to create automated cadences of workflows and messages and sequences. So they're quite cool. And if you can, obviously, as soon as you get a LinkedIn lead, push them into one of these nurture sequences, then it just ensures people are always up to date and always in contact with yourself. Social management tools, again. Oh, there's misspelling on management there. But yeah, Hootsuite, Social Sprout, Zoho Social. I think there's one called Social Pilot as well. I've been using Buffer.com is quite a good one. There's a lot of free ones out there. The restrictions with the free ones is they don't allow you to schedule. Buffer.com does allow you to schedule. There's another one I've been using as well, which is free, which is called Metricool. Metricool allows you to buffer at least up to 50 social media posts in advance. So if you're doing a lot more, then you have to start thinking about paying for plans. But with these tools, it helps you to kind of automate a lot of your social media management. And when you start to integrate it with your CRM, obviously you can start to track where your leads have come in from. So it could be they've come in from a social media post. And if it's linked to the CRM, you'll see straight away, this is a new lead that's come in originally from clicking on a link in your social media post. So that's quite helpful to have all that. You then got customer support tools like Zendesk and Freshdesk. So these are kind of online retailers use a lot of these for keeping track of customer relationships, what they've actually spent. So they can look you up straight away and see, Jeremy spent 6 orders with us, and he spent this then. These are the types of products he's bought. And it's bringing it all into one place, so you can give really good customized support back to the person you're dealing with, which is quite cool. So the biggest tool to integrate all these systems together is called Zapier. That's Zapier, Zapier. And you've also got to have a think about training your teams. If you've got working for a bigger organization, you've got several teams, it's much harder to get all this stuff implemented, because obviously you need to give access to different areas and such like. So when it comes to importing and organizing those LinkedIn leads into your CRM, let's have a look at what that looks like. So the benefits of importing your LinkedIn leads into the CRM, obviously, the biggest benefit is centralization. So having all your leads in one specific place or one CRM is going to make it much easier to manage and track those leads. Think about streamlining again. It's important to link those CRM records and automate that lead capture process, and that's going to save you time in the long run. Personalization is another key thing here, because once that data is there, we've got first name, last name, company name, and sometimes a lot of other variable data fields. We can then use those variable data fields in any outreach and any follow-up efforts based on that lead's profile and previous interactions that they've had with us. So to export leads into your CRM, the manual process is using things like Sales Navigator. That's where you can export lead lists, and then you can then import them into the software. Obviously, what we do with the Leadeth tool is we've kind of got this natively built in. So we're tracking viewing the LinkedIn profile, fetching their email address. If we haven't got it, we enrich it to get it. And we're getting their first name, last name, all that contact details. And then we're pushing it into either our own CRM tool or sending it straight to a third-party CRM tool. So there's lots of ways of doing it. You can do it via Zapier if you haven't got any of these native integrations. Let's push on. So nurturing those leads. So obviously it's one thing getting the lead, but if you're not doing anything with it, the opportunity is wasted there. So creating automated email campaigns is a great way to nurture your leads, and that involves setting up a series of emails that are automatically sent at specific intervals based on their behavior or engagement with your brand. And that's going to help you to build up reputation with leads and move them further down that sales funnel or that customer journey that we looked at initially. Setting up task reminders and alerts. So most CRM tools will have the ability to set up a reminder. So it could be someone's not ready to speak to you yet. Can you follow up next month? We need a robust way of being able to set a reminder automatically, a month later, send an email to this person, boom. So it's scheduled, it's ready to go. It's not going to be forgotten about, and it just goes out. Phone calls can be quite an effective way to nurture your leads as well. And that personal contact can be more engaging. Andre, are you a telephone person, or would you just stick with emails?
No, not a very telephone person. No. Yeah, emails, messages, and things like that.
Yeah. It's a powerful stage. I mean, I shied away from the phone call. Obviously, people of a certain generation, that was the norm. It was all done. Everything was done on telephone before we had emails. But I think it helps you to convey quite a bit of information in a short amount of time and build that rapport quite quickly. Whereas an email can still be a bit cold. It's very difficult to kind of build that rapport via an email. Jeremy, what about yourself? I know you're a fan of the phones, aren't you?
Well, half and half. I can't do cold calling. I find it very difficult. But once I've established contact, then it's much better to try and talk to them, because you're asking questions, you get to know them, and it builds empathy and relationship, and you can get them into a position where they actually would like to do business with you, and then they're looking for ways to do it rather than just some cold email coming out of the blue, and that's just a hindrance, But it is time consuming. Yeah,
that's always the biggest challenge, isn't it? The time factor with phone calls.
Yeah.
So it's
also the other problem these days, I would say, is this is a real limitation, is actually getting hold of people.
Mm.
Although we're all wired in more than we've ever been before, we're less accessible.
Yeah.
People just don't answer their mobile phones. If they don't know the number, they don't answer it.
Yeah.
They don't even listen to voicemails, it seems. It's just...
Yes, I mean, there's some clever systems nowadays that will, like Descript, you record 30 minutes of your voice, and then it knows what your voice is. So there's kind of like a digital twin of your voice, and you can basically type a quick message, and it converts it into audio and leaves it as a voicemail automatically. So there's a few systems out there. I've not personally used any of those myself, but yeah, I don't know how effective they are. But if you just wanted to send a quick nudge or a reminder to someone, you obviously can incorporate personalization in that. Just it's getting the pronunciations right, and that's what that 30-minute of training does. It trains up on your voice and how you would say certain words and things. But AI is only going to be more prevalent. So we've got to embrace it and accept it, that it's going to be here to stay, and we've got to use it and use it as a helper, really, rather than hide ourselves away from it, I think. Finally, number 5 there is reporting. So obviously, when we start to look at some of the reports that the CRM tools can generate, that's going to help us to identify how leads are engaging with our specific brand or content, and it also helps us to identify which leads are going to be the most engaged, importantly, and which ones might need additional nurturing. So which ones haven't been touched for it could be 2 months, they've just not heard from you, and a simple email could reignite that interest again. So finally, before we go on to some Q&As, we'll look at the Leadeth CRM. It'd be good to just demonstrate that as well. But closing sales with accurate lead tracking data. Obviously, this includes using your CRM to track those deals progression. So from one specific stage of the pipeline all the way through to the other stage. So once you start to analyze your sales pipeline, this will help you to identify those bottlenecks and use your CRM's data to make really informed decisions by understanding where your leads are in the sales process and how you can tailor an approach and which is going to help move them towards a close, ideally. Additionally, by using this data that you've obtained, this is going to help you to improve your overall sales strategy. Okay, so you're going to start to identify with maybe certain objections or why you're not winning deals. So it may be that you need to adjust your product or adjust your offering, because that's not what the market want. What you're offering currently might not be what the market wants. So it helps you to understand, we're getting a lot of rejections because of this specific item. Let's use that item and import it into the business because no one else is doing it well or whatever. And it helps you to kind of find these opportunities in a market. So one of the primary benefits of using a CRM is the ability to track this deal progression from one stage to another. And then by having that information, that information that all the sales reps in the team, they all have a strategic approach in terms of how they can close and use that as a team, which is really helpful. Even if it's just, if you're a one-man band like me, I think it's really helpful just to have all that information to hand. Certainly before a Zoom call comes up, it's nice just to look at, where did this lead originate? And that gives you something to talk about, maybe as a bit of an icebreaker at the start of the call. Analyzing the sales pipeline, that's going to help you to identify these bottlenecks that we've just spoken about. Once you've identified those bottlenecks, that'll help you to take action. And then we've got some tools on showing you where to find CRMs, and then I'll show you the Leadeth CRM. So this is g2.com, and it's basically a collection of software review places of software. So if you type in CRM, we've got a big long list comes up, and we can search for CRM. It tells you a little bit about what is CRMs, and then what we're looking for is this grid, which shows you here. This grid, it's called a G2 grid. Okay, and we can click view the full grid. So this is actually plotted out every bit of software tool that is currently being used. Normally you get little logos that come up here as well. But you can actually niche this down to maybe specifically small business, because you could be small business. So some of the enterprise software offerings might not be so relevant to your business. And there we go. We've kind of stripped out a lot of the big players that costs thousands and thousands a month. And then we can go to, select, do we want a standalone or an all-in-one CRM, which does a lot more to it. And we can start to identify some of these products. So some of the leaders, Salesforce, they're up there. That's a cloud-based solution, one of the market leaders. Down here, we've got contenders. Then we've got niche, so specific CRMs to specific niches. And then we've got the high performers right up this end. So HubSpot is a, all-in-one system. Use it myself. It's quite cool. Some of these other market leaders coming up, Close, I've heard of them. I've not done their demo yet, but Active Campaign, which is very much an email marketing tool, but they've actually bolted in a CRM to their tools. So quite quickly, you can click on one of these tools, read up a little bit more about it, identify kind of what its strengths are, have a look at reviews. I mean, this has got over 10,000 reviews, this HubSpot one. But if you've not heard of a software tool and you're thinking a lot of people are using it, it's a great website just to come to kind of identify. And that works with email marketing as well. So you can actually go back to the start of the search and just type in whatever it is you're looking for. So whether it's marketing, where would email marketing come in? Marketing tools, probably. Yep. So you got marketing automation, email marketing. We'll just open that up, have a quick look at who the players are in terms of email marketing currently. Most of these software tools are all free. I mean, the thing is not to get this. It's identifying the problem, identifying that you've got a hole and you need to kind of fill that hole. So MailerLite is here. That's the one I use. There's another MailChimp's been around for a number of years, considered a market leader. So if we just make sure I go to small business, because that will give us a more specific overview of software tools. Yeah. So Constant Contact is another really good tool, and all these tools integrate with the Leadeth tool. So when we talk about the sales pipeline process within Leadeth, let's just head over to Leadeth as a solution in its entirety. So Leadeth is quite cool because we actually have a CRM built into the platform to track all those leads. So typically we'd have an inbox, and an inbox is where the conversations start. So that's where we have a list of emails, a list of conversations, all the people that have replied to us. We can filter down within this process here. So, and we can mark people, if they're not interested. Is someone that wasn't interested, we can mark them as a label, not interested, and we can also add them to a block list or a blacklist, so we never contact them again. On the other hand, if it's someone who's very interested in what we're doing, we can actually mark them as a lead, and we can also mark them as a customer. We can also push them as a prospect to our CRM tool. So if this customer here, Leo, was a credible lead, and I wanted to start him on the real, send him to the email nurture list and have a phone call follow up with him, I would add him to a deal, what we call a deal. And within here, we can choose the tool that we're going to use. So as I say, we can use third-party CRMs like HubSpot. We can use Leadeth. It's got a built-in CRM. And then we choose the pipeline. So you might have different pipelines for different projects that you're working on. And once you've chosen the pipeline, you can specify the stage at where this is coming in at. So it could just be, he's just a lead. So for me, I'll just show you some of my pipelines that I've set up. So this is my HubSpot pipeline. This is imported from HubSpot. So we have a pre-strategy discovery call, a strategy session has been attended, decision makers brought in, because often you need to be speaking to the right person, contract sent, and then it's either won or it's closed. Okay. And then if you go to CRM here, this is the built-in Leadeth CRM. So we can actually create a brand new pipeline, give it a name, sales pipeline, create. And then what we're doing is we're actually adding the different stages to this sales pipeline. So if we go back into my test one, just refresh this pipeline. So every stage, you basically create all these different stages. So you might have a contract sent stage in your pipeline, and what's the probability of if I send 10 contracts out and only 5 of them actually go through to the next stage, that's a 50% probability of that stage. Once that stage is added, when we add the deals within the inbox, we're moving them to that pipeline record. So basically, we can end up seeing the prospects on a pipeline, and then we can move them from one stage to another based on wherever they are. So if it's contract has been sent, we can push them over to contract has been sent. So it helps us to manage all those prospects, and we can identify just the people we need to be given our attention to and focus to. So that's why it's really useful. Yeah, as I say, we've got a lot of integrations here within the Leadeth tool. So we've got a native integration with HubSpot. Zapier is what we use to connect with a lot of other systems that we don't have that native integration with. But when it comes to CRMs, these are popular other CRMs that people would use or might already have established in their business. You can see Closes on there, Pipedrive, Salesforce. They're the big names. Keep is another big one. Used to be called something beginning with I years ago. So that's there as well. And a few smaller ones there as well. But the fact that we've got Zapier means we can actually push data any stage we like from the Leadeth tool into these other systems, which is really helpful. So yeah, that's basically that bit. Let's have a listen to you guys, see what you guys have, big takeaways that you might have. Be good to hear your feedback. Andre, anything from yourself?
Yeah, I mean, every single time I watch something about CRMs and everything, I keep telling myself, okay, I need to go back and do it. And it's for me, it's always the time. It's like, just managing every single, okay, move this here, you've done this, you've done that. And it does sound like a full-time job. Yeah. Which again, for me, is time, I need to be doing something else. So that's what's been keeping me away from it. But then, you look back and you think, oh, I haven't got everything in order, all the contacts and all the people that I talk to. So, yeah, I need to do it.
Yeah.
Again.
You just got to think, potentially I'm losing out here if I'm not contacting these people regularly enough. And having a visual pipeline that you can see, and you can see, right, there's that person, that's where they are at. Let's just spend 10 minutes today and just phone each one of them up and see what happens. And, sure enough, 1 or 2 of them will push through to the next stage, which is fantastic.
Yeah, one thing I was doing is the other day, because I thought I would just do a sprinkling of my LinkedIn inbox. And I was scrolling back and I went all the way into 2017, 2018. And I was kind of, deleting, and some of the people I would get back to. Is Leadeth connecting to that inbox, and I'm able to do it quicker in some way through the
so
tool?
yeah, you can go back and see all your previous conversation history with everyone, which is quite cool, because obviously there's the LinkedIn's own inbox is just a nightmare, especially if you're a Sales Navigator user as well, because technically you've got 2 inboxes. You've got Sales Navigator inbox, and then you've got the LinkedIn inbox. What the software does is it's consolidating all that into one inbox, and you're linking in your emails together. So you just have one focused list of all the interactions, all the engagement with people. So you make sure no leads are getting kind of lost through the cracks in a LinkedIn box. It's so easy to click a message in LinkedIn, and then suddenly it's disappeared and you've forgotten about it. You think you've dealt with it. Something else comes in that's more pressing. And yeah, it's happened to me time and time again, it's just not nice when someone's been sat there waiting for a response after 2 or 3 messages, and you're a bit like, oops, what happened to that one? Yeah. How about yourself, Jeremy?
A lot of information to take on.
It is, yeah.
I would say, automating it is fantastic, because it's like while you're busy doing something else, these leads or inquiries or connections, whatever, just dropping into your inbox. And it's very satisfying. So I found Leadeth useful for that. On the reply thing, you just mentioned the LinkedIn inbox. I've had, I think, 4 replies now on Leadeth, but when I've gone into the LinkedIn inbox, there's nothing there. But they're all people who've contacted me in the past, and I'm just wondering if Leadeth isn't picking up
Yeah, I mean, that's more of a support question, but I'll run through it quickly. Let me just share my screen. Here we go. So within your inbox, this is the inbox within Leadeth. Obviously, we've got some filters here that we can utilize. So we can see, right, all the messages. So these are all the people that have engaged with campaigns. So they have to be in a campaign. What we can do is click that funnel and have an option to show all the dialogues outside of campaigns here. So this will now bring up absolutely every kind of type of message that you've sent out of on LinkedIn, which is quite helpful. We can then further look by email open rates or bounce rates, unread messages. So if we want to just bring up the unreads, we can bring up those first, and then obviously you've got the status. So if we've got a reply from a campaign message, we can filter just for those that are replying. So when you start to use these filters, it really helps you to kind of have a bit of focus, and you'll get into a habit of choosing the specific ones. So that are relevant to you. So for me, I mean, I can see straight away within the last few hours, previous correspondences here that have gone out, and these are just basically because I've sent a nudge out to them and I'm waiting to hear back. No emails have been sent, but on the LinkedIn side, so I hope that helps.
Maybe I'll talk to you about it this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. Hop on the client call and we'll run through that, Jeremy. Yeah. Great. Any other questions from anyone else who's kind of sitting in on the call? Feel free to pop a question in the chat and we can answer it. I'll just have a quick look on the live broadcast, see who we've got watching, make sure we've answered everyone else's question on there as well. That's okay. Nothing else on the chat there. Let me just check LinkedIn for any live messages. Here we go.
Jaginder's saying something.
Have a great day. Yeah. He's had to shoot off. I'm just going into the live stream on LinkedIn just to make sure there's no open questions there. Here we go. Anything on that one? Well, a couple of mentions. Masterclass and Leadeth. Let's stop my audio. Morning from Bristol. Jody tuned in. Richards looks good. Laura sounds interesting. Okay, a couple of historical things there, I think, possibly, but nothing else on there. So happy to stick around if anyone wants to chat a little bit further about anything we've looked at today or expanding on that.
No, I think I'm okay. How do I log in for today? I think you've told me before. Do I go to calendar? Or?
Yes. So head over. I'll pop it in the chat, Jeremy.
Okay.
So you'll have a link to it. And just make sure you've registered in. Great. Thanks, Tina. Great to have you with us. Hope you found value there. And I'll just pop that link in there, Jeremy. Hopefully that link will work for you, Jeremy. I've just sent it now on the Zoom chat. Just make sure you're booked in for the session this afternoon. Sorry, Andre, I think you're muted.
No, just fine. It was very useful. Very useful. So thank you. Yeah,
you're welcome. So next week we're going to do a little bit more on AI. So I've actually come across a lot of companies now who are claiming to offer AI generated LinkedIn profiles. So obviously if you've only got one LinkedIn profile, your opportunity is going to be limited with kind of how much you could do on that one profile. Whereas if you have an AI generated profile, and the way they get around it in terms of the LinkedIn legislation is they say they've borrowed someone's LinkedIn account. So another real LinkedIn user has allowed them to use their LinkedIn account. So it is verified by their ID. It's a real person. It's a real account. But then what they do is they customize the profile using AI with a fictitious headshot, a fictitious, almost like a headline. So it's almost like a fake profile, but it's a very engaging profile that's going to go out aggressively and target people and get them interested and hook them in. So I'll be exploring that in a bit more detail next week as we look at AI is the subject for next week. Previously, we've done collaboration with Copy Factory, who are an AI data source and for sales and marketing. And we look at kind of how we can integrate their tools with the system. But I'm going to show some of the workflows that I use personally in terms of identifying a list of prospects and then enriching that list with an AI icebreaker. So it could just be an AI icebreaker that's analyzed the person's name, their profile, it knows where they live, and it will come out with a one-liner just to really personalize the content. So do book in. It's the same link next week for that one. That's Tuesday at 9:00. If you've enjoyed today and you'd like to have a one-to-one strategy with myself, head over to leadeth.io /strategy. So I'll just share that with you where to get that. So if you go into Google, it's leadeth.io /strategy. It will take you to my Calendly booking page. And the purpose of the strategy call is kind of like spend 45 minutes with you just to run through what are your goals in terms of marketing and lead generation. I'll suggest some tactics and also showcase the Leadeth tool in a bit more detail and give you a bit of a demo of the Leadeth tool. So currently strategy sessions are available next month. We're kind of rammed out for the rest of this week, but certainly Thursday going forward, there's a session there. So head over to leadeth.io /strategy and book in with a call with myself, and we can have a look at how we can upscale your lead generation activities. But thank you very much for joining the call today. Jeremy, see you later. And
right.
yeah, good to see you, Andre, maybe next week.
Thank you, Andrew.
Take care. Have a good week.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.